Maj Torre, welcome back. I Never Knew TV. Fire, what's going on?
What's up, bro? Appreciate it.
Chilling,
I'm
man. We are
happy to be
here.
back. You know what I'm
Appreciate
saying?
you being up here. You know, last time you was up here was a vibe, so we expect the same thing.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get right into it. The internet is ablaze with Diddy, with the Diddy Fed raid and the arrest, right? Um, numerous there are numerous aspects about this I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The first aspect I want to talk about is that there's been a lot of criticism. I know people just jump on the bandwagon because they're just regurgitating. They're not
Yeah.
even analyzing
Yeah.
anything for the views and stuff, right? But there's a key component I've been analyzing is that with all this talk about Diddy, right? And sexual abuse,
Yeah.
is this going to lead people to oust the people in their homes who they know are sexually abusing people? The fathers, the brothers, the uncles, the aunts,
Yeah.
the sisters, the mothers? Because I don't see the point of all this outrage
Yeah.
without it impacting action that's beneficial to the community
Yeah.
collectively.
No, it's not. Now I think there is some logic to this conversation around. I think the word pedophile is becoming like very, very mainstream, and that could be a great thing or a horrible thing, right? I think that it's now trickled down into our community, so people are like a little bit more open to go, nah, you was this. There's a label for it. So I think it'll help somewhat in that way. However, the people aren't going into it with a solution-based mindset to say, what can we learn about this Diddy situation? To your point, how is that impacting in my everyday life? They're doing it's almost working against the community because it's going, the division is them girls knew what they was getting into, or Diddy's absolutely a piece of trash. And that's where the conversation seems to be lying. I wasn't gonna even do no content on it. I was like, this don't have nothing to do with the nuclear, like the Russian ammunition depot that 2 days ago Ukraine dropped drones on, and there was damn near like a small nuclear armament that may have went off in that. That's not even having a discussion being had. We are still this close.
No, I wanted to interject real quick, right? And the level of distraction that the media uses, Fire, because, and I hope I'm not insensitive when I say this, but this Diddy situation is not that important, Fire.
No.
This should be like a little strip on the side of the
Yeah,
newspaper.
footnotes,
footnotes,
sidebars.
and continue. This
Yeah.
should not be the main story on every publication, Fire.
Yeah. That's how I knew it was Cat. And I think that what happens is nobody, if I can make you be the most heinous thing, I can make you the villain. I can isolate you because nobody wants to stand next to the heinous being. Now, there's been rumors about Diddy for 30 years, like a long time, you know what I'm saying? The question becomes, is this a sidebar if this is happening right after things like that? Ukraine blows up a Russian ammunition depot. The fact that we're this close to World War III, like Putin has literally said it in United Nations settings. I don't want to drop bombs on y'all, but I will. Like verbatim. And so, I mean, since the Cold War, like maybe even including the Cold War, I have never seen tensions this high as it relates to nuclear weaponry. Diddy, to your point, is the sidebar on that. And the only way that I would figure out a way to talk about it is if I could tie it back into, here's the solution. So the people that's just talking about it for the red pill people that's like, oh, them girls knew what they were getting into, or the absolute simps that's like, no, he took advantage of them. Whichever way you land, neither one of those ends of the spectrum have anything to do with a solution, even for your family. Right. If you're not going to go, hey, girls, we need to sit down and talk about this Diddy thing. I know that I might have listened to some of his music and X, Y, and Z, but entertainers are not leaders. We got a t-shirt that says that, right? And here's why it's important for you to cover your drinks. Girls, I would prefer that you don't go out and party, but if you do go out and have a good time, we're not trying to have you, be
Wasted.
right and absolutely trashed and vulnerable. And we also not saying that you can't go out and have a good time. But here, girls, my babies, my wife, my cousins, my whatever, this teaches us this. If we're not having a conversation tied into the, at minimum, that, it's a waste of time. And I don't think most people are solutionaries. I think most people are reactionary.
Come be a part of history and experience the sharing of wisdom from some of the most brilliant thought leaders in our community. Come see Muda Baruka, Styles P, Nori Muhammad, Lawrence Haja, Dr. Dorothy Holly, Dejaz Mach Kwasi, Deborah Hines, and midwife Asasia impart their wisdom at Groundings with My Brothers and Sisters, a holistic health conference. A plant-based breakfast and lunch are included. Looking forward to seeing you there. But that's the joke. All these award shows, this man got a key from the city, all this praise, invited to all these things, and the same information was circulating. There's one thing I want to touch on, man. The people who are around these actions. And this is a consistent thing I've been seeing. So a person may work around someone for 10 to 15 years, right? Now, if you see something crazy one time, you're like, fire, this can't work.
Yeah.
If you see it again, either, you separate yourself from it, or you call the authorities, or you do what's needed.
Yeah.
You've been seeing certain behaviors for 10, 15 years, right? For whatever reason now, once you're not associated with this person, you're speaking out against these behaviors.
Yeah.
But what does that say about you as a human being for seeing this for 10, 15 years, and now you want to come online talking about all the things that you saw?
It makes you a coward, complicit, and a clout chaser. You the 3 C's. You the Carroll City cop. You 3. You a coward, you complicit, and you a clout chaser. I don't have any respect for any of them security guards, chefs. Like Wale was allegedly, he hung him off a balcony or something because he was doing a song with Cat. If you didn't come forward, and even if you were a victim, I don't have a certain level of room for people that create cover and concealment for monsters. And I know the argument could be, well, Maj is different. You in the gym, you work out, you got guns, you train, you know how to fight. Yeah, cool, I hear you. But I'm not giving room to people that are enablers of that. And I think these people show up because now it's like, if they can't get a bag off for suing them because they were actually helping him.
Facts.
So they can't get the bag.
For years.
So you can't get the bag that way. Now you're going to try to get the bag through appearances. I can't wait for some of these security guards that's like, yeah, I seen it, and he would do wild stuff. Watch. Mark my words. Watch they turn into, they're going to be doing appearances at events.
No, fight. They're going to get implicated. That's what's going to happen here because I don't know, man. I just don't see how you can witness so much wrong.
Yeah.
Then come into public and speak about it. And you were there. You were present. You were right there. And you witnessed it.
And you did nothing to stop it.
Nothing. Year after year, day after day.
Not, to your point, not just one time. Damn, did he chill? It can't just happen again, man. I'm going to have to take my walking papers. It wasn't that. It was, well, I'm getting paid and they know what it is. They just like the federal government. Y'all are part of the same DNA as it relates to that. The cowardly, complicit, clout chasing DNA. It's the same thing the feds do. Every time there's a mass shooter, a lot of times.
They already know the background on him.
He was on our radar. That's the phrase. We had the FBI, he was on our radar. Oh, you was on your radar, but you ain't do nothing. Oh, but then you show up after the shooting, somebody stops him, and you show up, our agency, we stopped and we made sure that, no, you a coward too. You a coward too. There's a lot of people that's cowards, man. We got to start calling it out. If you are giving a platform to a coward, a rat, and like an unprincipled person, a Charleston White, a YSL Woody. If you're giving them platforms for the clout and the internet clicks, they are unprincipled men. Charleston White talked about people's dead children. Said he wanted to rape children, literally. Me paraphrasing. But yet, because he say some common sense shit here and there, we supposed to give him a platform. No, he's a clown. And if you keep participating with the clown, I gotta view you as the clown as well. That's not what happens on I Never Knew TV. I don't see clowns showing up to have discussions here. I see people having robust conversations about things that are gonna be impactful for the community, what our community needs. And it could be entertaining. Ain't nobody gonna act like Angela Stanton King ain't entertaining. It can be. Maj will say something, you'll be like, yo, that's wild you said that. Right? It'll be entertaining, but it'll also be informative. So all of these people that's putting them on platforms, tell me what you witnessed with Diddy. And to your point, you are implicating yourself. Just because the feds is charging him don't mean they ain't gonna rope you up in the situation.
Fire, listen, I've been observing this thing. And since the pressure's on Diddy, I don't know how it's gonna work out, bro. But for some of them, I think they put themselves in a rough spot because they played it wrong, bro.
They put themselves in a rough spot because they don't have any everyday daily habits and protocol and standards that's in alignment with being a better man. And then, oh, you got money. Money is like a steroid. You like actual real money. Like I ain't broke, but I ain't got real money. 100 million, 200 million, or at least access that amount, right? These people were men that were never took the time to, I don't know if they ever went through their own rites of passage. I don't know if they've ever served the community, right? And they now you're fed with all of the attention, all of the clout, all of the resources. Diddy tried to put his hands on Iron Mike Tyson's leg on public television when he was on Arsenio Hall show. Mike Tyson in his heyday. There's a certain level of something's wrong, and there's a certain level of you bold. And literally, if anybody don't believe me, go look it up. Mike Tyson had to literally pick his hand up and take his hand off of his leg. If it was on Arsenio Hall show. My point in saying that is, you are not a robust, well-rounded, disciplined man, and that's all of these people. That doesn't mean that it's just isolated to the black heads of entertainment communities. That's like Kevin Lau stepping down and these other people. And, Russell never was charged.
That's not a good look to everybody
It's
stepping
not.
down ASAP fire. That's
It's
not
not.
a good look.
It's not. You told on yourself.
It's not a good look.
Saying this to say, but the people that's the unseen hands, I know that there was a Leor Cohen at some of them parties. I know that there was a Todd Moskowitz at some of those parties. Let's not pretend like they, with that being the case, these, in my estimation and what I see, they have no, what we call a DD in our group, our men's group. We call it dick discipline. You are so hard up for your lower level desires that you would risk. Diddy, and again, I'm not saying that he did. I don't think that anybody, with all of those rumors around Diddy for 3 decades, I don't think that anybody went into that scenario not aware that we're going to use drugs, we're going to fly all over the place, and there's going to be wild sex things happening.
Famous parties people been talking about for the last 2 decades.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not giving them room because they're adults. I'm not giving you room. You made a decision.
There was a well, I'll say this. All right. There's a Haitian controversy going on in Ohio, right? This lady, and please correct me if I'm wrong, seemed like this lady, Erica Lee, started this rumor that Haitians were out there eating animals in Ohio. Then Donald Trump, and what's the other version that's been circulating it?
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. But both of them are in public circulating the story. I think this is crazy on many levels, right?
Yeah.
First one is this. Even if a person was out there eating animals, right? It's one person. We can't generalize the entire Haitian culture and group, right? Next thing, with the leaders now in this fake news fire, like, they find anything. We all know America has an issue with Haitians.
Yeah,
So
the whole
they were
Western
just-
civilization.
They were just waiting for this
Yeah.
to demonize Haitians.
How dare you fight for your independence?
But the disturbing part for me is that I know a lot of fake news is circulated, but this is a clear sign where it's just like, this is a rumor. This is an online rumor,
Right.
and you're
Going with it.
going with it.
The same people that talk about fake news.
It's spread. How, like, this is very, very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the magnitude of what's being done in this situation.
I don't think it's dangerous. I think it exposes how dumb and non-logical people are. Like, because after a while, everybody goes, that was fake, right? The lady came out and was like, I didn't expect it to go this far and da-da-da-da. Here's the back-to-back contradiction. America has shows. Joe Rogan. Fear Factor. Y'all were championing and tying in and watching, and by the millions, people eat weird animals.
Weird stuff, bro.
Weird stuff. So now, let's go back to regular Americans. Okay, cool. Squid, calamari, shrimp. I got Jewish friends that ain't supposed to eat shrimp and eat shrimp, which is a cockroach of the sea. It is. Sorry, they're from the same look.
Chitlins of the sea.
Chitlins of the sea, right? You have rattlesnake.
What's the thing called? Adirondack or something they eat down south?
What is that?
No, it's look like a what's it called, bro? Armadillo.
Armadillo. So the custom, and again, I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. I just want to paint a picture for everybody. The custom because they say, oh, the Haitians are eating each other, eating cannibalism. Okay. The custom of eating the symbolic blood and body of Christ is a form of cannibalism. You're symbolizing this is the body of Christ.
My God, I apologize for interrupting. I gotta say this, bro.
Okay.
Anyone listening, take your time to study the history of cannibalism and Europeans who came to what we would consider the New World here in North America, right? Also, when you have the SAD diet, the standard American diet, we're only feel comfortable eating what has been domesticated and what we have been told we should be eating, which is your chicken, beef, and pork. For the most part, now we have salmon and other things. But anything that's not in that domesticated area, we view as like wild and crazy, you know?
Because somebody fed and told you what was acceptable and what's not. That's cultural. And again, not to be rude to any of these folks, it's just me saying, look at the contradiction. You eat pig intestines in America. That's where the waste comes out.
It'll get no worse than that fire.
Like, all of the holy books was like, yo, you might not want to eat pigs. You ate the worst part of the pig that eats everything, where that waste is stored. And some black folk, white folk, whatever, it was something thrust onto, the enslavement and all that. But so that's one. Two, it's a rumor. It's not true. Three, if one individual did do it, I've seen stories of people happen to be European Americans, high on PCP, dust, meth.
Eat a man face.
Eat a man face off. Is that a representation of every white American male? Most convicted pedophiles are white males in America. Does that mean my white homies, I gotta watch kids around them? No, that's not what that means. So these sweeping generalizations, this is why the argument of why I'm always on the state, the right or the left, will employ the tactics the overall goal is to increase the power of government. And they'll use those same tactics. When they're the rabbit with the gun, they won't be righteous a lot of times. The left wants to expand the welfare state. The right wants to expand the military-industrial complex. And they'll use tax dollars at your force or coercion to get you to do it. So it's fundamentally not limited government. Neither one of them are doing that. Same conversation here. You can identify false narratives, but if you could use it, even if they knew, I'm going to use this to make it look like this because we got to talk about, instead of just saying unlawful immigration is wrong, we don't want it. Congress needs to come up with a comprehensive plan to get streamlined, hardworking people from other countries that want to come in here and build this nation, because America is an ideal. You could say that instead of trying to en masse be disrespectful to Haitian Americans. And I think they're catching the brunt of this because, again, Haitian Americans to Saint Louverture, like they fought for independence. They did the same thing that America did.
Messed up everything too, fire. Messed up everybody's money,
Right. We're going to y'all can't get no money over here the same way now. So since then, the Clintons and all of these different organizations and people have been in Haiti extracting the resources. How many times has the American government toppled or killed or attempted to kill somebody in charge over there or ousted them when they was doing their own thing? I just seen the other goofball. That might be who you was talking about, Matt Walsh, right?
No. I think it was a V in his name.
Oh.
But continue.
He just got schooled by somebody repeating this thing. And the dude was like, well, there's nothing happening in Haiti that we would say this would be better in America. And it's like, well, at a certain point, you got to pull yourself up and stand on your own too. And it's like,
It's a wild statement.
you don't understand what United States government intervention in Haiti has been and is. But you say these very basic, childlike, simplistic, supposedly conservative catchphrases, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's like when the black community was saying, they was like, just say no to crack that y'all put here. Just say no to the most addictive substance that you guys created in the lab and gave to people to sell all over the place. Fast forward some years, now y'all make money in Hollywood by telling a story, and now it's a hit show called Snowfall.
We just don't say no to heroin and horse tranquilizer and everything else they're taking down there in Philly.
If we just say no to Fetty Wap, just say no to fentanyl. Now, when that chances come around and you see how Kensington looks, and it's mostly white dudes.
Facts.
Now we need some sort of...
It's a lot of empathy for this. It's a lot of
Right.
passion.
And that's the part that I'm saying, like, because it ain't about race per se, but it's like, yo, look at what's happening and let's be consistent. Let's be intellectually consistent. And these people, again, they fall victim to that narrative because they don't stop and think. They don't go, wait. I remember this one time, man, when I first bought my RV, right? I drove and I didn't know how to do anything in the RV. Nothing. And we was going to, not Michigan, it was Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was getting cold. And we didn't have water in the tanks, and I didn't know how to do it. I just bought it and went. And we pulled into a campground. I had never been in a campground before. And I asked some people, I was like, listen, we're trying to get water. And the people was like, well, go over there because the camp manager's over there. But because it's getting cold, and a lot of those places turn their water off so the pipes don't freeze because it gets really cold up there. So I go see the guy, and the guy's like he's the quintessential stereotypical of what television says is gonna be the white redneck. And I got a $200,000 RV. And I'm like, he about to come with the bullshit, right? And I pull up, and I'm telling him, he's like, oh, well, our water's closed. And I'm like, this motherfucker water ain't closed. He's just saying that, right? In my head. Then he says, but wait, pull up right over there, and we'll get you straight. We go over there, man. It's his house. Because, it's a campground, but you can pull your RV next to it, whatever. He hooks his hose up to his water supply. It's a 75-gallon tank. And I get to 50, and I'm like, damn, water's life. And I'm like, that should be enough. And he's like, no, man, we got to fill you up because you never know. I want you to show just a little bit of space, but fill you up enough so if it gets too cold, it doesn't freeze. And you got a plastic tank, so it's not metal, so it won't burst. And you got Pete. Started walking me through this whole process. And I took a picture with this dude, and all I could think, he was such a good person, man. And all I could think was, damn, man, I generalized the hell out of that dude and never had a conversation with him. And he giving me the means to stay alive on the road, which is water, And when them sweeping generalizations come, you got to be intelligent enough to go, I got Haitian homies. They not
killing and eating geese.
They're not just going outside. Here's the cat. Let's go. And even if they did, what's the culture? Because you don't say that shit when you watch them TV shows where them dudes is over there eating that wasp. Oh, that's crazy what they eat in China.
All right, we just talking about Diddy. I want to talk about this. It's nothing new, right? But it seems it's really been amped up with social media. Listening to celebrities talk about politics. Right? I think no disrespect, right? But and the reason I'm bringing this up is that what I hear, I haven't heard all of it, right?
Yeah.
But when I usually hear the breakdown of what they have to say is so immature, intellectually.
Yeah.
It doesn't delve into anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't analyze anything. It's just like a regular conversation you hear on the street in regards to regurgitation of the headline. But they're aware of the importance of the celebrity.
Yeah.
On the psyche of the population, and they continue to use them. But why do you think people still internalize what celebrities say about politics?
Because these stupid celebrities, Plies comes to mind. Plies is a political moron. He's it's not even a joke. He's a moron. He doesn't know anything. This is somebody that made a song called Bust It Baby and has not said, hey, I turned over a new leaf. That was kind of goofy me. It's not, the rebrand didn't give the explanation of how you got from here to here. Now you're doing politics. This is the same person that made songs about my homies is in jail for whatever, and then was dick riding Biden, who legislation quite possibly sent your homies to jail. Now it's Kamala Harris. But that's our fault. The general public is just as retarded as Plies.
Real quick too, you know what I saw, which was wild. I don't know how the proper names, but someone sent me a clip on WhatsApp where Kamala Harris was she was in some place. I don't know if it's a convention or something. Mm-hmm. But she had rappers on stage.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. It's not funny, but it's funny. You're a political leader, and it's the type of people they had on stage, bro. It's not like they had Common or something, bro. It's like, what's the girl? I think it was like Stallion.
Meg Thee Stallion.
And there was somebody else up there.
I don't even know these people's names.
Nonetheless, Fire, like, why? I don't see the association between politics. Oh, I do see it, the bread and circus.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see like why people can't observe. Like, and there's another aspect to it. Is like, it really shows how they view black people.
100%. It's we gonna keep the tap dancing going for the blacks, and I think that there's more to it. Like, more people are starting to wake up because more and more, especially black men, are going, all right, first of all, they should look into third parties. I'm a libertarian, right? I'm not necessarily getting behind our presidential candidate this go around because he has some cultural issues that I disagree with. But his platform politically is libertarian and liberty as possible. I just challenge everybody to go look into libertarianism and see what it is, right? The best Republicans in Congress have a libertarian background. Rand Paul, who's Ron Paul's son, Republican because of how the rules are played. Thomas Massey, friend of mine, definitely libertarian, but the way that the rules are structured, you got to run as a Republican. My point in saying this is the general public gets away with not being well-versed because they've effectively taken social studies, civics out of the schools. We teach a civics program. It's a weekly program. It's online. Anybody can take it, right? Because that part is what's missing. But as more black men are going, nah, that's clown shit. I'm not okay with that. As we see the pander, as Kamala Harris changes her accent in damn near every region that she goes to pander to that group and talking about, I find it insulting that your conversation is about the collard greens that you make in the tub. Like, first of all, nobody makes collard greens in the tub unless it's a vat designed for kitchen cooking. You tell black people, yeah, we're going to use the bathtub to soak our collard greens in. Them black people gonna look at you so strange and or talk behind your back like all the be damn when you leave. These are what they think. This is what the Democrat Party thinks about black people.
You think this is what they think or what they know about black people?
No, it's what they think, and it's not what they know because I want everybody to watch this, to say to anybody like, yo, when you make collard greens, you ever made them in your tub that you bathe in?
No, let me be clear what I said.
Oh.
When I say what they know in regards to the best tactic to reach them.
It's not the best tactic to reach him because if it was the best tactic to reach him, they wouldn't have to cheat at the same time. Like, y'all lied. Like, every swing state was going in the direction of Trump the last go around. Then magically at 1 o'clock in the morning, the Dominion voting machines went this way. Like, that's not Maricopa County in Arizona. Like, that was obvious. It was obvious. And all in swing states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, like, right? It's not the best way. It's the best way to get people's attention. If it was the best way, again, y'all wouldn't have to cheat so hard. You wouldn't have to have made a whole entire global pandemic, allegedly. You would not have had to make a whole thing about mail-in ballots. You would not have to consistently now import unlawful immigrants into America to try to make this run. You wouldn't have to force people. All of the like media is saying they don't run ads on what they did. They run ads on Donald Trump is bad. Donald Trump is bad. All of this is you telling people he's a racist. He's a racist. None of your own policy. So you're almost forcing people or coercing people into believing that this person is the thing, but you haven't discussed any policy.
And I think that's what I said. That's going back to what I said. They know what they're doing because if they were to discuss policy, which they can't, right? What would that do to the minds of the people? They have to just keep the people kind of entertained and confused.
Yeah, it's working in the sense of keeping dumb people dumb, but it's not working in the sense of this is absolutely for sure a surefire way to make sure we win an election straight on the up and up. It's not. Because, talking to Judge Joe Brown on a live about a month or so ago, he brought something to the table and he was like, she's suffering from early Alzheimer's and alcoholism. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, you notice there's certain things and characteristics. Her Alzheimer's, because she cannot string coherent sentences together, that's where the awkward cackling comes after the fact. And the drinking makes it worse and it helps her cope. And I started looking at older footage of her and she did not speak like that. She was much more articulate, much more robust in her speech. And I then thought, of course they want her to be up next because Biden is at the end stages of the Alzheimer's. So we could run her if we get her through. We're going to do quarterback sneak her in and we could just keep quarterback sneaking. It's not the best way. They're just going to try to now shame. White liberals are going to try to shame all of the people that go, nah, I'm going Trump or whatever. They'll say, if you say you go Trump, they say, you're racist. They can't say racist to black people the same way. So they say something else. Sell out, Uncle Tom, whatever, even though that's not what Uncle Tom means. But nonetheless, if you go third party, they say, well, you're helping Trump win. You're throwing your vote away. Telling you that you don't have the individual choice to vote for whoever you want. If I wanted to vote for RFK Jr. when he was in, cool. Never mind the entire time that they talking about all of this blackity black, and Trump's the racist. This entire time, damn near 2 years, Cornel West has been running for president. Where's the conversation around Cornel West?
I want to jump back to the celebrity thing though, right?
Yeah.
Why do we hold so much weight to what a celebrity says in the area of politics?
Because the general public doesn't know anything about politics. And I get it. You want to go to a trusted source. It may not be the right source, but you want to believe that this person that you watch on television and put so much into his or her craft, you almost feel like they're your friend.
I just want to touch on something. You know what I noticed too? People think once you kind of you're good at something,
it translates.
It doesn't. Bro.
It does not.
It does not. There's no correlation.
Bro, listen.
There are many things I'm not good at, and there are many things I'm good at.
I'm good at a few things. I don't do electrical work. You're not good at this yet, Maj. Don't do it. Your man John does that. That's why he's an electrician. They think that translates, and they have an affinity towards this person because they've been glamorized and you've watched them. You've praised. You've seen this star, and you want to believe that you want to stay in league with this person that you care about so much, and because the music that's been selected in certain sections of the movie has a relationship to how you feel. So 20 years of watching, insert whatever person, you almost get to the point where you ignore their contradictions. I'll give you a perfect example. You'll ignore the fact that Guns N' Roses has been a rock smash metal group, anti-system for 40 years. Rage Against the Machine, Pearl Jam, and I'm just going back in time to up now, groups that are old enough, right? These are groups of people that when you were 17, you liked them and they helped you through these times. Music marks points of time in your life, and you have an attachment to the group and the person. And then that person, you want to identify with that person because you like them. And then they have never had a conversation and you don't see the contradiction. They don't say, here's how I got from here to here. You don't know that conversation. Then they show up and they do the exact opposite of what all of their music was about. And then they rage for the machine. They say, again, Guns N' Roses had a big old piñata of Trump on one of their concert stages like last week and let people up and smash the piñata. The emotional attachment to the bread and circuses and the characters that are hand-fed by Hollywood, mainstream media, more importantly, legacy media, that have a leftist narrative are specifically there to keep you paying attention to the bread and circuses. So that part works 1000%. In Rome, they didn't even know Rome was like conquered. There was the killers of Rome came into the bread and served into the Colosseums and started slaughtering the people in the Colosseum. They were so fixated with the game that they weren't paying attention that their whole empire had fallen, and the killers came in and stabbed them to death in the Colosseum.
That's what's taking place right now, right?
We watching it. We if you are an entertainer, you do have the right to express your political opinion. You do. I have the right to go, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then here's how you don't know what you're talking about. That's why people like, again, I'm a pick on Plies because I think he's a moron. That's why the general public is so silly and doesn't understand civics. That's why he'll stay right in the pocket of how he feels about Trump and why we should support from an emotional angle. No policy. He doesn't know the fact that she flip-flops. He just doesn't want to acknowledge it. He definitely doesn't know the fact that when she was in California, and I heard Charlemagne say it wasn't true and it was a narrative. It is true. You 1,000% kept over 1,500 inmates in California for cannabis possession. You kept them in jail, even though it was lawful then in your state at the time, because your state needed to free prison slave labor. That is what you did. And now you're talking about joy. The problem is the people like me and the others that you guys have interviewed know what we're talking about. And our memory isn't like a goldfish. It isn't 7 seconds. We go, it don't even got to be that long. It can be 10 seconds. You could go, at the debate, Kamala Harris said, me and Waltz are gun owners. We're not trying to take nobody's guns. And then 2 days later, she put a ban assault weapons post up on her social media. Then if you go back further than that, you have some photos or videos circulating on the internet right now where her saying, we're not saying that you can't keep a gun. It was her and Gavin Newsom some years ago. We're not saying that you can't keep a firearm. But that doesn't mean we're not going to march in your home and see if you're not handling those weapons and firearms properly. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. So since it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, you're a person that is going for the job of the presidency. That job has 3 lanes to it. Command the armed forces, secure the borders, uphold the Constitution. The general public doesn't know that that's the job of the president. So if the general public doesn't know that that's the job of the president, she can just say things and the celebrities can mirror these feel-good tactics, collard greens in my tub. Plies. Y'all just don't want to get behind a black woman. That's what it is. I see what it is. You just don't want to give it. That's that step and fetch it, tap dance, corny shit. But if you don't know anything about civics or the job and the role, you won't view it the same. And then if you start to know, the commander-in-chief, the head of the executive branch, which is the president, has to command the armed forces. It's called the commander-in-chief. Do you think that these wild military dudes respect her enough to accept commands from her? We don't need a cackling hyena. Why did Trump have so much respect? Because he commanded respect. That's the job that you're supposed to do. Now, I think Trump's light on that Fourth Amendment and that Second Amendment, not as bad as them. But if the general public doesn't even understand this, and they have these trusted sources that I've been listening to Bust It Baby since the mid-2000s. I like Plies. Oh, he changed his teeth from golds to veneers, right? If that's their attachment to this person and they don't know anything, of course the trusted source wouldn't lie. He's too loud to be lying. No, he's lying and he's dumb, but he's loud and you like him. And so that's our fault. That's our fault because, if I threw a party today and said, it's all of the liquor going to be free. It's going to be free. Come to the Solutionary Center. It's going to be free. People will show up faster. It wouldn't be powerful, but the people will show up faster. But if I say, and I say it's $20 to get in, but the liquor free. And if I say it's $10 for a civics class, it's online, you don't even have to leave your crib. You're going to get a PDF that comes right to your email, the whole curriculum, the situation is going to be, and it's going to empower you. Only a select few of the people are going to tap in for that. And that's the problem. That's our problem. Our culture, our politics, and our economics need to be all in alignment like the Jewish community. And then when that happens, then we start to go, what does she mean? That's the job. She ain't do the job. What you mean it's time for a change? You was in the office the last 3.5 years. You the person in there now. So which one is it? We need change, or you did a good job when you was in there? And if the people start evaluating it from that perspective, they'll start seeing how stupid the celebrities are. These are the same celebrities that are now stepping down and being quiet because they was at freak-offs with Diddy. They not morally, these dudes are morally bankrupt.
I don't know if I should be ashamed to say this, Fire, but I didn't even hear about the second Trump shooting, to tell you the truth. I ain't even gonna lie to you. So I don't know, but it's kind of wild. Like, what was the first? It's in the 2-3 month span.
The 2 months. The first one was in Butler, PA.
I remember the first one
2 months ago.
But the second one, somebody told me about it. I was like, for real? I was like, oh well. But
and they popped the dude. That dude was in a he's like a Ukraine asset.
The first dude.
No, the second dude. They caught the second dude. He's in custody.
The first
dude, they lit him up. He dead. You know what I mean? That means you definitely didn't hear about the explosives that they found at his New York rally a few days ago. Before they had the dogs out there and they found explosives.
Bro.
They trying to kill him. They're trying to kill him. He in a way, and this is not me saying it as if I'm probably gonna vote for him. I'm skeptical because he's not pro-gun. He's not Second Amendment, and that's my wheelhouse.
And I just want to say this, man. I respect the fact that you at least understand this man's stance on certain things.
Yeah.
Because the general consensus is that I'm hearing Kamala Harris, well, she's black. What else? It's just the default. And with Trump, is basically like he's crazy or he's a racist. And I would respect either side if you just say, you know what, man? I'm gonna vote for Kamala Harris because she supports this, or this is what she stands for. This is what she's trying. At least this is her platform. You know what? I'm gonna rock with Trump because he's with this. No, none of that. None of that.
It's just one of the. It's just this surface level conversation as it relates to these people. Trump is good for the business of America. Trump is not good for limited government. Trump overspends everybody. That's not conservative. But Trump hasn't said he's conservative. He may be a Christian. He may be morally conservative, or at least that's how he presents, but he's not fiscally conservative. He's the biggest government spender. And the vast majority of that is the military-industrial complex. That's what he did. So me saying he's good for the business of America means, again, those 3 jobs. Constitution, which he's weak on. Second Amendment and Fourth, maybe he'll get it. Since he got the brunt of, now you got all these charges, and now, all of this, like, back to blue. I get supporting law enforcement officers that are doing the job. But writing them a blank check is stupid, and it's not constitutionally sound. It's not. The founders did not want a freestanding army. New York got like 30,000 police officers. That's a freestanding army. We have to be critical of the reasons why we're pushing back against candidates, local, state, and federal, and we have to be championing why I'm championing these things and be able to explain it. But earlier, like I said, Constitution, defend the borders, command the armed forces. The military loves Trump. Putin wasn't invading Ukraine during that time. Simple conversation. Him willing to go sit down with Kim Jong-un and go to North Korea and be like, look, let's chop it up, bro. What can we do? I like that. Also with the Taliban leader, pulling up with the Taliban leader and saying, if a hair on an American's head is harmed, I'm going to kill you. And then telling the interpreter, tell him. And then he tells him, and the Taliban guy looks at him, and Trump goes in his pocket and shows him a picture off of satellite imagery of his fucking house and leaves. I like that. I like that in a commander-in-chief. I'm not naive to think that, like, we're no longer a constitutional republic. We are the empire. We should scale it down to become back to being a constitutional republic. But since we're in an empire and we've created so many enemies, we could have collateral damage. I want somebody that says, if you harm our people, we're going to absolutely murder you. If I was in charge, 1,000% that would be the angle. Listen, we chilling, we doing all of this good stuff. We're going to try to do barter with you. If you harm my people, we're absolutely going to fucking terrorize you. You're 1,000% going to be a parking lot fucking with us. That's me as a leader. So I can understand that. And I can understand why other so-called alpha males, I say so-called because I think that term is a little played, but more of a person that is with an alpha personality that person understands, like, okay, I will go to war with that, or for that person, or with that person, right? I don't see that same thing with a Kamala. And so these levels of understanding of what the job requires and how these people like Kamala are just not built for it. You have to be able to articulate that. If she was younger Kamala Harris, I could see it. You an evil motherfucker if you say, I'm not letting them out of jail because they slaves to me. That person could command some sort of respect, but now you're not even mentally the same there. And now the alcohol is taking its toll. I can see it. And whoever got the purse strings and pulling your puppet strings, maybe you was at a Diddy party. Who knows? My point is, I can point out the reasons why you should not be the commander-in-chief. The Biden-Harris administration sued the state of Texas for securing its own borders because they wanted them to not secure the borders. 3 jobs: secure the borders, Constitution, command the armed forces. You're not going to get respected by the armed forces as that woman, not any woman. I think Hillary Clinton could command respect because she has a death trail. She's killed a lot of people, allegedly, right? I definitely know Condoleezza Rice would be great in that position. There's a certain level of stoicism and not kikiing and giggling that she has, right? But I can point out the reason why you don't fit. You're not going to command the armed services. You don't have the respect. You literally told the state of Texas, when it's in their right to defend their borders, the Alamo, all that type of vibe, right? You told them, your administration told them they can't. They sued in court. And then we go to the Constitution. You are literally advocating for a ban on firearms. You fail on 0 out of 3. You fail on all of them. You should not be the president. This is not complicated. Trump, light and weak on the Second Amendment, like him better on needs to be better on the Fourth. Good for the business. The whole border thing was his thing. Y'all adopted some of his plan as Biden-Harris administration was in. Not a limited government. He's a big spender.
I have a question real quick about this border vibe, right? I've heard many people say this. I want to hear your views that America could not survive without the employment of what we refer to as illegal immigrants. Do you believe that?
I think we could survive. I think a lot of the conveniences that we have, some of them restaurants would close.
All right.
I think it would be great if we pulled so many of the armed service personnel that we have in all these proxy wars all around the country, the globe, that we should not be in, and gave those guys America, if we were more non-intervention, as the Constitution kind of leans us to be, and all of those men and women came back and had jobs in those fields working for America, America would look like Shangri-La.
All right, but let's just base it on what it is now.
But what it is now,
yeah.
Most of the conveniences that we have at these fancy restaurants and stuff like that, no, those restaurants primarily and service jobs, for a minute, it would not be as much growth. It wouldn't be as much growth. Because say what you want about the Guatemalans, the South Americans, the Mexicans, they work.
Very good.
Work. My Haitian homies, my Jamaican homies that come from work. So miss me with the whole they're tearing down America. I don't subscribe to the bigoted component of it. But the reality is it is an unlawful immigration. Now, that's a gray area on certain levels for libertarians because I believe that humans should be able to freely migrate. But I also believe that those rights got to be reciprocated. So if I can't come to your country and hang out in Tokyo indefinitely or until I feel like it, or if they your visa's up, get out of here, right? If it ain't reciprocated, then we can't do it. So I'm somewhere in between. I think the streamlining of the process would be great, but I don't think America falls without immigration, unlawful immigrants' labor. I think that the level of speed with which so much overdoing it of construction and restaurants, I think that would slow up. And I think you would see a more safe and communal and respectable area. And I think more parts of the middle of the country would be inhabited.
I don't know. I observe and always think because you have a large portion of American society that have no skills and are very low intellectually. So I just wonder long term what's going to happen to that large population of Americans that won't be able to earn.
They'll be able to earn. They're just gonna have to. They're not gonna be able to live in these big cities.
Yeah.
They'll be able to, like, if you see right now, you see more people buying RVs. You see more people living off grid. You see black communities, the largest and fastest growing of homeschooling. They'll get skills. We had skills. The United States government started overtaxing the corporations, and the corporations shipped their jobs to different countries. We had skills. Philadelphia was heavy in textile. There used to be a Boeing jet manufacturing factory on Roosevelt Boulevard, all the way up in the Northeast. All of South Philly was textile and manufacturing. The building at Broad and Lehigh was textile and manufacturing. North Philly, those factories, those sit-and abandoned factories, the skills were there. A dad would be able to walk up the street to his job, come home for lunch, go back to work, and then come home because of the factories. But the United States government and taxing and tariffs and all of that was like, and the companies were like, no, we're going to send it over. We're seeing this right now in Indonesia. We're seeing this now in Singapore, not Singapore. I forget what the other name of this town is. But my point is, invention is the mother of necessity. So it becomes like, okay, the unlawful immigration, because all 10 million that the Biden-Harris administration has left in here, conservative estimates, they all not just like working jobs, right? It's not 10 million added to the workforce. However, if those 10 million weren't here and those black jobs, because everybody got scared of that term, those hard-working jobs, the black men, I'll do it. How much is it? I get to walk home and come home. Yo, I'll work at this argument that like middle class and or low class, meaning socioeconomically, those people would not do those jobs is false because historically we've done them. All of Detroit, Motor City was black jobs, right? That's where the Great Migration came after the South, after emancipation. We're gonna go to these areas that are more industrial.
You think this generation will do those jobs though?
Yeah. If a dude could make $50K a year walking to the factory up the street, and all of the businesses that are in the community, the mom and pop store, the hood bar that been there for 40 years, and you could build that up and that money stays in that community. That's why the Jewish community looks so lit. The problem is government intervention and telling the Teamsters were racist, the unions. When that migration happened, all of those like union rules and all that, we don't want these fucking blacks, right? That happened. But when government merges with that and says minimum wage jobs, because that came out of that whole union thing, was specifically so they don't get the job, right? When you remove government intervention and then a dude is like if I told a dude right now, listen, bro, I got friends that make $200,000 a year that's plumbers. Bro, you want to take this? He gonna teach you how to do plumbing. You gonna make, and if that dude said, I'll teach you how to do plumbing, you'll have the house that I have in Jersey or South Philly, and you'll make 50, you'll start around 50. After you go on your own, you get 100, a couple of years, you do $200,000 a year. You set your own schedule, you run the business, da-da-da. Every hood dude that I know, because otherwise, what's the alternative? You got a skill, you got a trade. These are good, honorable jobs. So no, it's not that we wouldn't do them. It's that y'all took the trades out of the schools. Dobbins was on Broad, it's on 22nd and Lehigh. They used to teach trades in Dobbins. They used to teach hair. When I was in school, we had, it wasn't even a trade. It was just, you have workshop. You just got workshop. Just learn how to do shit. I saw they just opened up a new laborers information facility right off of Broad and Girard. And hopefully that looks good. But no, I think that the people from this generation have been broken away from it. And that being broken away from it has made them be like, oh, I don't even see that as an option. If I tell somebody, you commit to this, you could be a master. T.I. did it. T.I. and his uncle linked up. They made a construction company. Nah, man. The people will do it. There's just intervention. the government and bigotry is like, you know how you burn yourself like the roof of your mouth if you drink some tea too hot? And it would heal faster if you would stop using your tongue to like pick at it. But you keep picking at it, so it's not healing as fast. That's the government. Just leave us alone. And those trades and skills and all of those other different things, man, I cut the violent crime. I made a job. Black Guns Matter is a job that I created and employs people now. People that press the shirts, we hire people. There's always gonna be a source of it. Even that, if I like my next phase, I'm gonna buy a factory, small factory. We make shirts. Do you want to learn how to make shirts? Do you know how to make shirts? Do you want to be a foreman, teaching people how to run this factory of t-shirts? This is no different than Nike. China just maxed out and was like, we're gonna make everybody stuff. The jobs are there. The concepts are there. Government has to get out of the way.
I was reading this article, right? Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that in the last 18 months, this was in May 2024, in the last 18 months, Philadelphia spent $16 million in lawsuits for police
brutality,
right? Mm-hmm. And when we spoke the first time I met you, we spoke about how you can lie with statistics. There's another article that states that police brutality in Philadelphia is, I'm laughing when I say stuff like police brutality in Philly is down about 30%, right? Listen though, the population of the police force is down 25%. The population for the police force is down 25%, right? Are people aware that their money is being used? Because I taught in Philly, not the school I was at, but I heard other schools where they don't have proper HVACs. Mm-hmm. Kids don't have certain resources, mold and all type of craziness. Are people aware of the amount of money that is spent on these lawsuits? Because what I notice is that the initial action will take place, right? And I should have mentioned this in the Haitian conversation because we always hear the first headline. Mm-hmm. We don't hear the rebuttal.
Right.
Cop shoots a kid, cops beats up somebody. We hear that headline, right? We really don't hear what happens to the cops, and we don't hear that settlement.
Right. That's why the people generally don't know. Like, I'm going to bang them in the head for about 3 M's. I'm going to bang them. Y'all got me all the way messed up. I'm going to bang y'all for about 3. I'm going to bang y'all. That's tax dollars, though. The general public doesn't hear it because they don't want to. First, it speaks to the amount of brutality that's actually happening. 16 M's?
And remember, these settlements aren't $1 million, bro.
No.
It's like a 200 there.
This one here. This one here.
So
it ain't 16 of them at $1 million a piece.
And those are the ones that actually get to the point of settlement.
Right.
All those beatings that take place.
A lot of them get to, all right, look, we're going to fire the officer and we're going to drop the charges. And some people are like, cool, I don't got to go to court no more. Right? No, the general public doesn't know that. They don't, because if they did, they would be libertarians. They would go like, this is what y'all are spending our money on?
You're trying to throw in the libertarians.
I'm telling you, listen, this argument of like ending qualified immunity is very libertarian.
For those unaware, explain.
Qualified immunity means it's not your money if you violate an American or a Philadelphian. It's the taxpayers' money that it comes from. There's never any other area or job or profession that
you don't have that responsibility.
Right. You did it. If I crash into your car, my insurance is going to go up. If I have insurance, I am paying it. My insurance company's picking it up. But the insurance is going to go, yeah, we're raising your premium. If a doctor does a malpractice, I mean, he might have insurance and all of that, but you are responsible. It's not the taxpayers' money. So there should be no qualified immunity. Think about that. I qualify to be immune to accountability to the thing that I did.
I think it's a brilliant move. I know it's not. I know it's an ethical issue, but I think it's brilliant because they're aware of the type of people they have in the force. They're aware of the training. They're aware of the high probability of these type of things happening. And it's like, why would we take financial responsibility for this?
And think about that. We know the type of people that the dude that slammed Tyreek Hill on the ground, the Miami Dolphins player, a couple of weeks ago. He's been suspended 6 times. Settlements, but suspended 6, and he's still on the force.
Homeboy that killed the lady, what's her name, Massey or something? The white dude?
Yeah.
He had a long history of mix-up.
Right. And so you know that these are the people. The standard for being a police officer is here. This argument that like it takes longer to get a cosmetology license than to be a police officer. Not SWAT, not special, not SORT, anything like that. But you know that it's low. You know who you got on your team. And so you come up with a way to try to qualify them for immunity for their own actions on the job. Then even if a person gets in some trouble, they'll shuffle him around. He'll be in a different department. He'll be da-da-da. He'll be low for a couple of years. Then he'll do something stupid again because the police union makes it very difficult to fire this. This is all government-related silliness. If they were all tied into the concept of liberty, tied into the concept of civics, this is why we teach these classes. It's not me. We solutionaries. I go, this is a problem. We should get all of the information, make a curriculum on it, and teach a class about it. So the general public can go, wait, what? Why? The fact that nobody knows about the sheriff's department and the deputization process, which is supposed to be the highest ranking official in any municipality, they're elected, but the police chief is appointed by the mayor. That's a problem. That's my man. He going, yeah, man, you got it. And give them all immunity. If you understood civics, you would understand that having that many police officers in and of itself is in violation of what the founders wanted. No freestanding armies. But the general public doesn't know that because they don't study civics. Huh?
I said that militia.
Yeah, it's a militia. The militia's supposed to be the people. And so the general public don't know it. And I want to give them a little bit of grace because I know how the propaganda is. And I know how they wicked with the lying to you via media and keeping you ignorant. But at a certain point, like, bro, I got 5 smartphones. If you got one smartphone, you're walking around with the Library of so-called Alexandria in your pocket. So on one level, I'm gonna give some grace, but on another level, it's like, bro, you are you trying to figure out how to solve this? Again, we have a civics class online, $20, $50 after October the 1st. We have a understanding imminent threat class, how to deal with law enforcement, how to recognize threat, avoid it, de-escalate, engage if need be. And we got a firearms basics class. These are all online classes. So when somebody tells me I know why you don't know. But if you stay comfortable with that ignorance, 16 M's, and again, like you said, 50,000 head, it's happening a lot. So you should not, and this is more where the conservatives got to just stop saying back to blue. Just this blanket statement of back to blue. You know what blue that I want to back? Homicide detectives. Someone was killed.
But I was reading an article where, let's just say majority of homicides are not solved.
Yeah.
Right? So do you know the exact number around?
It's like
nationwide?
40%.
40% of homicides
Close
are not solved, right? Higher in inner city areas.
Yeah.
All right. Couple factors play into it. Please correct me. Resources and police force. Obviously, no.
They say that. They say that resource part. Bro, we are living through the militarization of a police force. There's a great book called Militarization of the Police. Balco, I think is his last name. But anyway, they got the resources. Remember when Lori Lightfoot was talking that defund the police shit in Chicago? She got a whole bunch of COVID relief money. She gave like 60% of that to the police force. A big chunk. Y'all got the bread.
Is it training? Is it
training?
Training relationship with the public?
It's training. You're supposed to be a peacekeeper. There's no community policing. They are trained that everything is adversarial. They train them like we supposed to be like we enemy combatants. And that plays a part. So instead of going, I remember one time I had a hoopty back in the day and something went wrong with it. I was on 17th and Lehigh and that joint started smoking, like smoke out the back. And a cop threw his cherries on and I hopped out and he was like, yo, don't ever hop out. This is when I was super young. He right here. And I'm like, damn, my bad, bro. I thought you was pulling me over to help me. Like push me out the way or tell people like go around. And I was like, I'm going right up the street, bro. Like, you know, but he hopped out and was like, don't you ever. And I'm like, in hindsight, I know what he means because I train now. But my thought was, you're actually here to help me. That's not what he was there to do. No, but again, this all comes back to the general public needs to be informed and educated. The general public doesn't understand. If I ran everybody that watched this through a civics course, they would understand that the founders of America, with their contradictions, slavery, right? And all of them didn't like own humans. My point though is, America was founded on fuck the police. It was literally, they the redcoats. We don't rock with them.
But they had the whole situation in England they weren't trying to replicate, right?
They weren't trying to replicate it. That's where you got, these guys pulled from the Magna Carta. These guys pulled from the Enlightenment period. These guys were students of John Locke, Robespierre, Montesquieu. Like, people now call the French like soft. No, they ain't that soft. They invented the guillotine and they was chopping politicians' heads off, right? These founders were like, no, the Bill of Rights alone is the first 10 amendments to the initial proposed Constitution, and it was ratified. And initially it was 19, then they whittled it down to 12, and they wanted to be entwined into the Constitution. Then it got down to 10, and it was like, this Bill of Rights, these are restrictions on government. These are human rights that the government cannot persecute you for. First one, we get to say what we want about the government. Because King George over there was on some like, yo, persecute them dudes because they disrespecting us, right? So the first one was we get to say what we want about the government.
So that's done.
That's done. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange proves that unequivocally. The Twitter files proves unequivocally that that's not okay. And the government will operate through these platforms. That's why they mad at Elon. Operate through YouTube, Google, Gmail, whatever, Instagram, Meta, Facebook, right? They'll operate through them and say, censor that. Don't say that. Don't let them talk about it. Debauchery, absolutely. Porn is all over the place. But you have RZA on this joint. They go, oh, what are you doing?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So
double facts.
They'll operate through, they try to make the media conglomerates become like the unofficial fourth arm of the government or branch of the government. The founders knew this and they was like, first, we can criticize government. Second, we got guns and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. No infringement. There are over 20,000 unconstitutional statutes against guns in America. It does not improve the quality of life. It does not make Americans more safe. It doesn't. If you ran the general public through these courses and gave them the history, and this is where I give again credit to that media, they make you only focus on the racist component of the founders, not the paperwork that they left, which is still the supreme law of the land to this day. So they get you focused on the negative component, but not the part that you could use to empower you. So if I was a supervillain, I'd do it too. Take that civics shit out of the school. Let them maybe get to Maj and maybe take a civics class. But if you started telling everybody this type of thing, and you started telling these young men, especially, but not limited to, get a trade, get a skill, buy some land, do this, do that, be armed, learn how to blah, 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 blah. Yo, me, my man, and such, he the electrician, he the plumber, we bought stuff, even if it's just for flips around the neighborhood. If you start telling people these things and recognizing that the founders were these level of multi-level geniuses, Benjamin Franklin was a printer, an inventor, a writer, an author, all of this. He was a wild boy. Point in saying that is, you start to recreate those same type of men that'll go, I'm a blacksmith, I'm a carpenter, and it's my land, and we built that house, and we can defend it. That's why they don't want people to tap, especially in the hood. I can't have you tapping into that type of energy. I'm surprised, like, Illuminati, show up. Where's the $800 million to give me to stop talking? Because I'm surprised I've been able to do it this long. Raise them, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's a rapper, he won the Grammy, Kabaka Pyramid. He had a line in the song, I'm paraphrasing. He was saying he won't get in trouble for what he's saying because the thing too far gone already for him.
Yeah.
I know people too distracted.
Yeah.
Even if they hear it, the most they'll say is, man, that makes sense, but they're not gonna act on it.
Right. And that's the part where I'm like, I can extend that grace to the people to a certain extent, but after a while it's like, bro, we got 1,000 people in this Solutionary Non-Telegram group, right? It's free. I'll come up with your macros, I'll come up with your whatever, your diet plan or your workout plan. It's like 970 people in there. we got maybe active, maybe 100. Damn near not even 10%. Y'all all joined us because you knew that something was wrong. And I'm saying I'm going to do this for you for free. Here's your workout plan. Here's your meal plan.
But it's no different. It's no different from church, because I was telling somebody that you can have a church with 3,000, 30,000 people. You probably got 10 people in there to actually implement what they were told consistently.
And so this is why I'm just like, yo, our small cadre of people, cool. When the Revolutionary War happened, that's where the concept of the 3%ers comes from. There was only 3% of the American patriots that were willing to bust their gun against the British. Same thing with all revolutions. So like, it's plenty of us, and less is more because you got more quality. But man, we could get even stronger numbers with the quality if we were just informing the people about these things. Like, you see, we changed the face of black gun ownership with Black Guns Matter. We are cited in the Bruen decision, which is a Supreme Court decision that said, no, these gun control laws in the state of New York, which was the most draconian at that time, they're wrong, and they're not in alignment with the Constitution and the Second Amendment. It changed how all judges now evaluate Second Amendment cases and or proposed gun control legislation or existing gun control legislation. If it's not in long-standing history with the Second Amendment, it's unconstitutional, therefore it's null and void. Black Guns Matter is cited in that decision. So if you put a little bit of elbow grease in, the people start going like, everybody, black Americans for the last 6 years have been the largest gun buying demographic in America. There's not a oops, we just did the work. So doing the work and informing the people is what we got to do, not following after entertainers or the ditties or the this or the that or the focusing on things that are not important. That's cool if it happens to come across your timeline, but all I ask is that while you giving energy to that, A, lean it back into something that's practical for your life and it's a solution for your life, and B, also look over there and go, what are they keeping me away from? What is this? Why is this the media narrative right now? Look on Al Jazeera, look on all of these different news outlets and go, this is interesting. And then that way you have a balance. We're not telling you I could be a robot because I'm not interested in a lot of the dumb shit that people into it. So it's not me missing it. But I'm not saying everybody else has to be the robot. I'm just saying use the pop culture media narrative to benefit you and just take a moment to look over there and see if you can add to your plate a little bit.
Also, when you were here last time, we spoke about conflict resolution, right?
Yeah.
And I saw altercation. It was more of a, we were in traffic. It was more of a road rage in a sense. And what I've been noticing, man, for the brothers, men in general, Fire, but like, they bring a lot of problems in their life with this pride, yeah. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, I was a hothead younger on. You know, you talk crazy to the police. You just talk crazy because you're young and ignorant and full of, whatever. But as long as there's like no physical threat, bro,
I don't care.
It's like whatever. You get what I'm saying? I could easily say, my bad, bro, it's cool and keep it moving. But can you talk to the young brothers here because this is how I saw the situation. We were in traffic right here by Wegmans and by here, right? I was in the back, but I saw it. The dude gets out the car and they're like yelling at each other because I'm just looking like, why did you even get out the car? And it's like this thing could go like a way different place where cops have to get involved, lawyers have to get involved.
Or you get murdered.
Jail time, or you lose your life. And the question is like, why? What are you trying to prove and what are you trying to accomplish? So please break down the steps of basic conflict resolution so people can get home safely and just continue their lives and enjoy their family.
The reason is because they feel powerless. I want everybody to ask yourself this question anytime you get into the next situation. If you had $100 million at the crib, your girl called you and like, yo, somebody left $100 million at the crib right before you got into this altercation. Would you stay at that altercation or would you go home? The people that feel powerless and don't feel like they could generate resources, they already on edge. That's like even before we get to your diet. That's before we get to the hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. There is a holistic approach from the time that you were born to the time you die to extract resources off of you and kill you slowly the whole time. Every angle of where you make the misstep is an industry designed to tax you and make money off of you. If I get you to spaz out and fight and shoot, boom, we towing the car, we taking the gun, we selling it, boom, that's money there. You got to hire a lawyer,
Court fees.
Court fees, the judge. If you go to jail, we got a Whole Foods, you up in the mountains, you farming fish, you doing whatever, BMW show up, you got a decent stretch. Hey, you want to work for BMW making car parts? Then you get out, then you don't got no money, then you can't find a job, then you ate bullshit the whole time, you never changed your diet, you never worked out, then you die, now the funeral system, now we tax the funeral homes, Every step of you making a stupid decision is designed to empower an economy that has nothing to do with you or your family. So, conflict resolution is A, knowing that. B, this is the practical part, and I'll go into the spiritual component, what I believe. The practical part is going, A, my girl just called me and somebody, for whatever reason, is $100 million in cash at my house. Is this thing more important than the $100 million at the house? And if the answer is no, go home. The next thing is, spiritually, there's 3 voices in your head. Inspiration, intuition, and intimidation. They all sound like your voice. The voice you read with, the sounds you hear in your head. Inspiration is from what people call God. Flashes of inspiration. That's when you have this dope idea and something tells you also to write it down, and you don't write it down and you forget the shit and you're like, damn, I had a good idea. That's inspiration. Inspiration turns into creation. Creation is another God principle. Being inspired and following through and executing on the inspiration is how we please God. And you get benefits from it. I was inspired. I didn't have a plan for Black Guns Matter or Solutionary Lifestyle. It just happened. I was like, I think I'm gonna do that. That's your voice of God. Intuition lasts a little bit longer. Intuition, in my opinion, is like your ancestors or your angels that are like, you should leave. You shouldn't be here.
Spidey senses, bro.
Spidey senses. Get out of here. Don't go there. Last week, I was going to go on a flight. Something was like, don't go. I didn't go. I don't tempt the fates. My ancestors or angels or whatever people want to call them are going, Maj, you crazy. Don't go over there. Just don't do that. Intuition. And last is intimidation. That's your lower self. That's the thing that the people call the devil. That's the one that's going, fuck him, bro. Fuck his car. How dare he fucking pull in front of you? He seen you. He swerved into your lane. Yo, cuss him the fuck out. Now, how you know if it's intimidation? I say intimidation not because it sounds scary, but it's making you feel like you're not enough, and it's specifically there to take you off the plan. It's not inspiring you, and it's not intuition to get you off some dumb shit. It's tricking you into do the dumb shit. If it's in relation to like the gym or health and fitness, right? If you hear that voice and you got 20 reps in that set and you at 17, and that's hard, it's supposed to be difficult. It's growing pains. And if you start hearing the voice going, you did 17, that's enough. Don't worry about it. You don't push the last 3. You work hard. You better than everybody else at home. That's getting you off your path. You've made a commitment to yourself. Intimidation is there to get you off the path, and that's the lower self, and that's the devil. The way that you deal with so-called conflict, because most of this shit is not conflict.
I'm glad you said that, man. Continue. Most of it is continue.
It's just some stuff.
Some stuff, bro.
This happened. This guy swerved, and I was like, oh, well, he didn't hit me, so what reason would he have to be like, ha, 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 ha? Like,
2 things I want to add, man. You mentioned these eyes. I have to say inadequacy. You don't feel worthy to protect anything.
Right.
And I think if you're not doing anything, it's easier for you to engage in activities that throw your life away.
Because you've never built, you have the tool to defend your life,
yeah,
but you've never built the equity up in your life.
Right. And there's another thing I want to say is that, and I'm not projecting this on other people. You have to reach a certain heights to get here, but you have to understand the human psyche. Everything's not about you, bro.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like a dude may spaz out on you, and like it may be public, it may be, or you may be embarrassed depending on
Yeah.
your vibe. But it's like when you analyze it, one, I don't even know this man from nowhere. I don't know what he's going through. Bless fam. I'm gonna keep it moving now.
That happened to me last week. I was in a car and I was trying to get around this one car and me another car trying to get around the other car. And I'm at the light and I'm like listening to $100 Million Leads on audiobook. So I was tapped in. And I hear somebody yelling. I'm like, I look around and the dude in the car is yelling at me. And I'm like, he's like, yo, if you would have hit me and my son in the car, it would have been a problem. And I was like, mind you, I got my gun on me. But I'm like, damn, I didn't even see him. I was trying to get around the other car. And I pulled up next to him and I was like, damn, bro, my bad. I said, bro, I wouldn't have did. You got your little man in the vehicle. And he was strapped. He had his, when I pulled up, he had the hand, like the look. And I'm like, bro, I was in a rush trying to get somewhere, bro. I was in a zone. My apologies, man. And I could see his face kind of be like, and he was like, oh, all right, well, thank you for, I said, for sure. The funny part was, that dude was speeding just as fast as I was. My point in saying that was, I'm definitely a better shoot than he is. I definitely can get to my firearm and put rounds. But why? What? I swear to you, I didn't see that man. You're not even in my this Tetris. I'm just trying to get, move around this car and that. And I remember that. And all I could think was, about all of the times when that was an opportunity, because I could have just ignored him and just drove off. But I was like, damn, bro, he gonna take that energy into whoever he engaged next. Try to help de-escalate that. And when I pulled up and just, I already failed to avoid it because I sped around him. So now you in de-escalation mode. Damn, my bad, bro. And I hear it. All of the dudes think like, because you in the fight and you got the gun and you this. When you start training, like going to the gym, boxing, like I get beat up by dudes that's like young dudes that's like 20-something, that's been practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like 5 years. And they look very unassuming. And they will fold you the fuck up.
You know, it's funny, bro. I took Krav Maga for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the most humbling experiences I had because I used to be bigger. I used to be on some meathead that day, right? And when I went there, the people that were there, you would never think they're capable of doing what they're capable of. And it just changed my whole mind frame on interacting with people.
I'm nice with everybody.
You don't know, bro.
You don't know.
And don't let the looks fool you.
Man,
I don't hear about no height. I don't hear about no weight.
None of that.
So if you're not ready to like really take it to the max with somebody, just keep it moving, bro.
And even if you are ready, right, to take it to the max, why? Is that how you get the $100 million for your family? If we're taking it to the max? Are you robbing the Federal Reserve Bank? Like, did you end poverty with this max that you taking it to? Or you were mad that he cut into you on the whatever? Like, your family, loved ones, future. We hear all of this conversation about generational wealth. If you're not here, you can't help build generational wealth. And that doesn't mean you lose, because everybody has this thought process like, I'm right and they're wrong. Okay, let's say you are. That means he's the bad guy, you're the good guy. The bad guy gets a say. That shit don't just go the way you want because you right. The bad guy gets a say. So factor in all of these things. And I'll throw a bone to the absolute lowest common denominator, lowest IQ man that might hear this. It ain't no women in jail. All of the beautiful, thick mommies that you could be, your girl, you could be home, getting a slurp and a bounce while after your girl make you some cookies. Which would you prefer right now? Which would you prefer? Like, that's the lowest level that I could possibly say. Like, if let lust guide you.